Solitary Symphony follows the standard path of most sonata movements in that the first theme is in one key, G major. The second theme is in another key, D, in this case D major. But by the end of the movement, it works its way back to G major. But of course, being Haydn, he's going to throw in some detours along the way, and this starts even as early as the slow introduction. The job of the slow introduction is to build this drama for the rest of the movement, and it does that in some cases by working in this minor mode material as well. So instead of just G major, we're also getting G minor. So after the primary theme in G major, Haydn modulates to D major. But just like in the slow introduction, that D major quickly slips into D minor, although in this case it's much more dramatic than it was in the slow introduction. So in both of these cases, Haydn is playing around with parallel keys, so keys that have the same tonic but different qualities. So G major and G minor, and D major and D minor. But so far, he's basically sticking with the sonata form plan of these fifth relationships between G keys and D keys. Also in this movement, though, there's a very strong chromatic mediant relationship happening. So what this means, mediant means third related. So instead of fifth relations, it's chords whose roots are a third away. And if you do them in the same key, you get these different shifting qualities. So major to minor, or if you go down a third, again, major to minor. But Haydn's mediants are chromatic mediants, which means they're outside the key. So this is like if you've ever heard anybody play something like the end of Happy Birthday. It's sort of surprising and wonderous. And so in this case, we finish in D major, big finish in D major at the end of the exposition. And then the development starts. Instead of starting with B minor He has the big finish in D major, then to B flat. And this chromatic-mediate relationship is always surprising, even if you know it's coming. Even if I tell you I'm going to play a deceptive cadence, this deceptive resolution to this chord, it still has the same effect.
So as both a performer on this piece, as well as a music academic, it is crucial to me that my performance practice reflects the harmonic language and just the average surprise that Haydn writes into the symphony. A couple of examples of this. I have one excerpt in the second movement where previously the whole orchestra has been playing and then everyone drops out with me, and the first bassoon gets to play its favorite role as the village idiot, playing all of these octaves. They're very cute, and it's important to me to consider every time I go through it that I'm playing short, bouncy, not too loud, not to be too surprising or cantankerous, to get out of the way once the other woodwinds come in, and to always remember to have fun with that excerpt. Shortly thereafter, I have a nice little chromatic passage up that very much wants to go to C. I think it's, and it very much wants to go to C, but what nobody else knows is that when I hit that C, so back is all of the brass and much of the strings, and even though I am at a very quiet dynamic at that point, when I get to that C, everybody is at forte. It's going to be loud. So playing with direction, knowing that that chromatic passage is going to go to C, but not giving away the surprise that when I go to C, so does everybody else. Later in the second movement, Haydn again plays with these ideas of key centers and tonal centers. He has this second trumpet solo, more like a bugle military call, that is so set in C major, and that is the main tone of his solo, and yet when we come back with everybody in the orchestra, we don't go into C major or any closely related key, we go into A flat major. So when I come back in with the rest of the orchestra on that pitch C, I cannot play even the same as the trumpet has just done for 8 bars. It has to be a little bit lower to fit in that triad. And remembering also not to be too bright or anything like that, even though it is a big forte, everybody in the orchestra playing moment. Haydn's playing around with the tonality again, so I can't just do it the same as it has been.